I would like to talk just a minute today about giving back. How many times have we watched people preach, companies preach about the importance of giving back, only to find out they don't? I don't know anybody an explanation about why it's important to us, except to say this. It is one of the driving forces for my family, personally, but our family at work, right? We become a family, and it's growing, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And like we've talked about in the past, sometimes you just do something to help somebody because you want to, not because you feel pulled to, not because somebody's pressuring you, but because you feel like it is the absolute right thing to do, and not because you're going to get any mileage out of it from a marketing standpoint or a PR standpoint. There's so many people out there that do things from a business perspective because they want to know, what can I get out of this? What is it going to do for me? Well, if people would start to just think about what can I do for someone else and how can I impact their life in a positive way and share that, right? We don't always want to do it because we want the publicity, but we have started to share that with our people so that they can understand we mean business, but why it's important to us, right? You got to make money, but what do you do with that money corporately and individually? What do you do with it? I think that we have a responsibility. The more we're blessed, the more opportunity it gives us to give back, correct? And the more we give back to our family when they need us the most, whether it's time, listen, sometimes it's money. Things happen in life, not always because people made a bad decision in their life, but because life just happened. And there are people in leadership in our company and the people that are closest to me that know me and where my heart is. And we've actually developed from a trust standpoint to where those people know there's times I need to talk to Dean and make sure he's okay with it, but then there's other times they don't. And that's a culture within our culture that is very important to me. What do I mean when I say give back? So there's another business that's associated with us in what we do. It's called Homestead Hollow. Some of you have been here, some of you haven't, but guess what? Over time, all of you are going to be here because it is an extremely important part of what we do and how we've been blessed. And I'll talk further on Homestead Hollow probably in another video, but for this particular example, here's the reason it's part of the story. 2005, my wife and I decided that we wanted to buy Homestead Hollow. Like I said, I'll explain more later about what Homestead Hollow is, but you can go to homesteadhollow.com if you really want to know. Homesteadhollow.com. So we had a neighbor, Mr. Armstrong, that befriended us. Older gentleman, had been in the transportation business. He would come over when we were working there and doing different things. Just got to know him, super nice guy. And they had been successful in the transportation business. Well, they bought a limousine and they used it at their church and they used it to serve other people, which I thought was awesome. He'd tell me stories about different people that he'd picked up over the years and why when people would come in to speak at their church, it was important for them to use that. And it was his way of using their success to give back. Awesome story. Well, I was out of town one day. I don't even remember where I was. My phone rang and it came up and I was like, it's James. So I answered the phone and said, hey, James. He said it wasn't him. He didn't say anything. I answered the phone and said, hello, James. And it was his wife, Glenda. And she said, I have some bad news. And I'm going, don't tell me what I think you're fixing to say. And she said, James passed away. He had a massive heart attack. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? So when I got back, went to see her, on the backside of working through burying him and saying goodbye, she said, I need you to help me. I said, okay, what you need? I need you to help me sell the camper and the limousine and some other things that we don't need anymore. James is not here, and I'm not going to go camping without him. And I need somebody that I can trust to help me sell them. I said, okay, I'll help you. The camper sold, some of the other items sold over a period of time, but the limousine never sold. We kept talking to people, taking pictures. They kept it under a canopy, had a cover on it. One day my daughter Kristen was getting married. Glenda said, why don't you use that in her wedding? I said, okay. Picked it up, used it in the wedding. I think it was a pretty awesome wedding if you ask me. Not impartial or anything. It was my daughter, so it was a great wedding. Married a great husband. Now they got great kids. When I took it back, she said, you need to buy this. I'm like, ooh, no. She's like, yeah, you need to buy this, Dean. I said, Glenda, I wear cowboy boots, I chase cows, I drive trucks, and I'm a janitor. That's not my speed. That ain't what I do, and I don't want to present that kind of image or project that kind of an image. She said, you need to buy it. I was like, Anyway, we parked it back over there and left it, and finally, we talked a couple of times over the months, and finally my wife Terry said, you just need to buy it, Dean. I said, Terry, I'm not buying that car. She said, you're buying that car. And I said, no, I'm not. She said, you have struggled more with this decision. You make instant decisions and spend millions of dollars in the business because you know it's going to help the business. But you keep struggling with it, and it's not with this, and it's not going anywhere. I said, listen, I can't buy this car for what she's asked. She said, why not? I said, because my nature is I want to whittle. I want to go in and I want to say, can I buy it for cheaper? Can I buy it for less? Can I convince her why she needs to sell it to me less than she would somebody else? I can't do that. I'm trying to help her. She's a widow. She's my friend's wife. How am I going to go in and tell her, I'll give you X and do what I normally do? She said, you can't. Just buy it. Oh my gosh, I finally said, okay. You know what we did? We bought the vehicle. We bought the limo. And the day we bought it and I wrote the check, I called John Croyle at the Big Oak Girls Ranch. Go to Big Oak Girls Ranch in Springville, Alabama, if you want to know a little bit more and a little bit more understanding about why it was important. And I said, John, he was headed up somewhere to make a speech. Now, for those of you that are big in football, he played for Alabama. Bryant was his coach. And when he graduated, he had a calling. He could have gone pro, but he talked to Coach Bryant, and Coach Bryant said, you need to chase your dream. You're good at football, but your dream is this, and I'll help you. So John chose not to go pro, but to follow his dream and follow his heart and help children. I said, John, Terry and I have a problem. He said, what is it? I said, I need your help. What is it? I told him the story, told him about the limo. I told him that we chose to put it in a foundation to help give other people a special moment and memory in their life. I said, the first thing we want to do is take all the girls on their prom this year. He said, oh, that's awesome, Dean. I can help you with that. What I didn't realize is I was going to have to rent 2 more because my commitment, there were going to be more of them than we could take in the car. When I say give back, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't understand the things that come along with a willingness to give back to other people. And I think the whole point of the message is sometimes we don't understand the magnitude of giving back and what it means. And that's one of the best stories that I can tell you that can help you identify and understand what it means for us as a family and as a company to give back. A lot of people preach it. A lot of people say it. Want you to believe it. But I've also learned from the people around me that sometimes you need to tell the stories so that our people can understand why it's important to you, what you're doing to give back, and what it means, and the things that you get, not just monetarily or from a PR standpoint, but just to say thank you, to do something for somebody else. It's awesome. I'll give you one more quick story. Everybody know who Tim Tebow is? Tim Tebow does Night to Shine every February for Valentine's Day. For Challenged, you would think, I thought the first time we did it, children, but it's Challenged adults and children. And I don't even know what the right word to express what that means. We don't make a dime, we invest, we share our time. We use not only the limo, but other things to give someone else a special moment in memory and time that they'll never forget. We've been doing it 6 years, and every year those kids and those young adults and older people can't wait to ride in that limo that we bought. From Glenn to Armstrong, James passed away. The blessing that he started is transferred to us, and we use it to serve other people and give back. And we expand upon that in other ways that I won't get into today, but I wanted you to understand where part of our money goes and why it's important. Not just spending the money to have the things that give other people a special moment, but we get to share our time. We get to share our time and devote our time to helping other people. Now, how awesome is that? And it's one more reason that I firmly believe we continue to be blessed, because we're willing to give back. Have I learned that I need to be more vocal about it and not just do it behind the scenes? Listen, I'm not telling you this because I have to prove anything to you. But I want you to understand what's important to our family, what's important to our business, and why I consistently learn the importance of sharing it with our people and with you, so that you know what kind of company you're a part of. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you understand a little bit more about why making money and running a great business is important, so that we can do things for other people. Thank you very much for what you do and your support. Have a great day.